So 2017 is the year of the personal robot at CES. We have the LG Hub, we have the Curie, we even have the Mattel Aristotle for your children, and of course Reach Robotics finally gave a nice tech demo of their Mikoman fighting robots. You can use these as one-player augmented reality robots or two-player fighting robots. If you're in the 41,000 block of the CES, definitely check out some of these awesome robots.
Okay, I've got a few news topics I wanted to talk about. First off, we're going to give you $50 off Kamigami robots. That's right, these usually sell for about 120 to 150 bucks, and these are one of the most amazing little robots we've ever tested. I think you should have one of these in every home, and if you want 50 bucks off one of these today, just use the promo code RC101 on kamigamirobots.com, and you can pick up one of these nice, awesome little robots and get yourself 50 bucks off. We're not making any commission off that. We just really like these robots and think they should be in more houses than they are. Now, moving on to the next subject, we did a review of the Air Hogs mission drone. This is an awesome augmented reality aircraft. You have a big tracking mat, you control the aircraft with your phone, and when you look at the aircraft in the tracking mat, you see a big beautiful city, and you can shoot things in the city and fly the aircraft around. One of the things we said in our review was that you were unable to play with the virtual aircraft whenever the aircraft was turned off. That is actually incorrect. If you're playing with this aircraft and the battery runs out on this aircraft, you do have to restart the app, but you can continue to play in the virtual city with the virtual aircraft and, level up your character. And it's a really good idea because you're going to want to level up your character so you can do more with your aircraft in the game. But that's our quick retraction on the Air Hogs mission drone review. We appreciate you guys checking that review out. It's a pretty amazing little aircraft. A lot of technology went into this thing. Really awesome. Definitely an awesome little aircraft, and if you can find one of these, you should definitely pick it up. Moving on to BB-8, of course. Rogue One hit theaters and is a very popular movie, and of course the BB-8 Sphero app-controlled robot was released for the last Star Wars film, and it's an awesome little robot, but it had some issues with controls. But I wanted to report that Sphero has actually put a lot of work into BB-8 recently, and they have really made a lot of hard choices with the controls, but they have really improved them a lot, so he is a lot easier to control, a lot smoother. If you have a BB-8, definitely bust him out and update the app and give them a try. They've added a lot of new features. Definitely a lot of fun. And of course, Sphero also released the new Force Band that you can control your BB-8 with, so definitely worth checking out and worth updating. Now moving on to micro FPV quad racers. Okay, our last story is about a controversial issue with racing drones, specifically eachine. They've become real popular in the last year. They gave us the eachine 250 here. This was a very popular FPV racing drone, 250 millimeters, brushless motors, great FPV camera, lots of fun, but you still have to be registered with the FAA to fly something like this. That's why it's really nice that they have pushed forward on the development of all these lovely little FPV nano racers here. The QX90 was one of the first. It was a real sensation. And these tiny FPV all-in-one camera and video transmitter units are really what's making it possible. These brushed motors, you can actually fly these aircraft outside and indoors without really worrying about damaging anything. There's no speed controllers or anything like that. And they're quite powerful and a lot of fun to fly. They, of course, followed up with the QX 80mm FPV racing drone, and of course the X73 here. It's got a circuit board for the body, so if you crash this too hard, you're going to have to replace that whole circuit board, so this wasn't really my favorite. But they did release the QX95, which I think this thing is just absolutely amazing, and it's a wonderful, awesome little FPV racing drone. It's very durable, very fast, very precise, lots of fun, and they're trying to advance the hobby constantly. They came out with this turbine X70 here, but this was when we started to notice problems. This thing was really kind of rushed into the marketplace. It's very underpowered. Every reviewer said this thing is very underpowered. You can see the advancement of the plastic frame is just an injection molded, cheaper plastic frame. The camera's gotten a lot smaller and a lot better. That is one thing that has definitely improved. but everybody reported that this was very underpowered and very rushed to market. So when we received the QX90C, which was the upgrade of this QX90 here, and the FB90, we immediately bound them to our FlySky FS-I6 transmitter, and well, the first test with the FB90 was actually quite dangerous. There is something wrong with it. It locks. So I'll go to full throttle and see no response, and then I pull the throttle down and it's still at full throttle. So if it was armed right now, it would be flying up into the ceiling. Now there you go, the throttle finally recognized. We've actually had reports from about 1 or 2% of the users that purchased the FB90 that said as soon as they bound it to their transmitter, it just kind of flew up into the sky and was never seen from again. We did contact eachine and Banggood about the issue, and they informed us that we might need to replace the flight controllers, but they later sent us an email that said, why don't you try to update the software on the flight controller? So we tried about 50 attempts with the QX90C here, connecting it to the USB port and going through all the procedures to try and reinstall the software on the aircraft. That never actually fixed the problem, but on our first attempt with the FB90 to reinstall the software, we were unable to install the software, but it did unbind the FlySky FS-I6 transmitter from the aircraft, which meant we had to rebind it to the aircraft, and as soon as we did, that actually fixed the problem. So now this aircraft will fly properly, and I'll give you a quick little demonstration and show you how you can tell that this aircraft is actually going to function properly or if it's just going to fly off into the sky. When you plug it in, you'll look at the eyes and you'll notice that they change colors as you raise the throttle. And that's, a nice little feature that's kind of related to the QX95's light bar here. So they've actually programmed it in to be able to respond to throttle commands. And as you see, I raise the throttle, the eyes change colors there. And if they gradually change colors as you raise the throttle, you'll know you're fine. If you raise the throttle and go back down and they stay stuck at yellow, he's just going to fly off into the sky. So after I rebound the FlySky FS-I6 to this aircraft, we're finally going to be able to take it outside and give it a test flight. But I wasn't the only user to report this issue, so it is obvious that some of these were programmed a little hastily. And if you do have this issue, the best thing for you to do is just go into your transmitter's menu and just go up in and reset the model and just rebind it to the aircraft. And that should fix your problem. That actually fixed the problem with the FB90. That actually fixed the problem with the QX90C. So if you do see that issue, just go ahead and rebind your transmitter to it. Stay tuned for a full review of the FB90 and the QX90C. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in to RC101 with the Taoist Flyer. Don't forget to subscribe and come back for more.